जय हिंद, नमस्कार. A gatha told by Buddha on this topic is like this. Appam pe che nibbutim bhunjati yadi asahasen aprup ghati balanch vannoch tadas hoti nahi sabbo ahar mayen vannoti. Meaning, food even in less quantity and maybe not rich, but if it is obtained by rightful means without hurting or harming others, produces so much strength, energy, beauty and immunity in the body which varieties of nutrients and supplements cannot, because everything in the personality is made not merely from matter, rather more of it is from mind. But when we observe ahimsa and think of Mahatma Gandhi, we see that both things are very much correlated. Observing ahimsa by self and by others is recommended in food habits. Now, in the craving for more calories or proteins, other birds and animals should not be killed or got killed. Vegetarianism is defined as the practice of abstaining from the consumption of meat and may also include abstention from byproducts of animal slaughter. Vegetarian Society defines a vegetarian as follows. A vegetarian is someone who lives on a diet of grains, pulses, legumes, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits, fungi, algae, yeast, and some non-animal based foods. Example, salt with or without dairy products, honey, and maybe eggs also. A vegetarian does not eat foods that consist of or have been produced with the aid of products consisting of created from any part of the body of a living or dead animal. This includes meat, poultry, fish, insects, bats, and byproducts of slaughter or any other food made with processing aids created from these. Now, byproducts of slaughter include gelatin, isinglass, and animal rennet. From this angle, when we see, we can divide vegetarian types also. Now, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, for example, who eat both dairy products and eggs, and who eat dairy products but not eggs. That is also another type of vegetarian. Ovo-vegetarian, for example, who eats eggs but not dairy products. And the vegans are the ones who do not eat dairy products, eggs, or any other product derived from animals. In India, for example, we have a Jain vegetarian also, who abstain from even vegetables which grow below soil. For example, carrots, potatoes, turnips, radish, etc. Now, to such vegetarianism, Gandhiji writes in Young India in the year 1928, abjure brinjals or potatoes by all means, if you will, but do not for heaven's sake begin to feel yourself self-righteous or flatter yourself that you are practicing ahimsa on that account. Ahimsa is not a mere matter of dead ticks. It is the self-denial, the self-restraint behind it that matters. Now, he further clarifies this in Young India on 1st of November 1928. I'm quoting his words. I know that in the act of respiration, I destroy innumerable invisible germs floating in the air. But I do not stop breathing. The consumption of vegetable involves hinsa, but I find that I cannot give them up. He further adds that the use of antiseptics, use of mosquito and snake killers, use of sticks to drive bullocks in the ashram, Sabarmati ashram which we quoted, are all acts of hinsa. But this is samyak, as samyak is given in by Mahatma Buddha, which is a middle path. So it is rather keeping away from extreme points. Now, too much of everything is bad. And as far as food and food values are concerned, Gandhiji writes, food can be divided into three categories: vegetarian, flesh, and mixed. Flesh foods include fowl and fish. Milk is an animal product and cannot by any means be included in a strictly vegetarian diet. A layman does not consider milk to be animal food. On the other hand, eggs are considered as a flesh food. Now, in reality, they are not. Nowadays, you know that sterile eggs are also produced. The hen is not allowed to see the cock, and yet it lays eggs. A sterile egg never develops into a chick. Therefore, he who can take milk should have no objection in taking eggs. Medical opinion is mostly in favor of mixed diet. Now, Gandhiji's concepts about vegetarianism therefore changed to exclude milk. Though earlier he had replied to Dr. McCarrison in his letter decrying milk, he writes, I dare not, as a layman, combat it, but I may state that there are medical men who are decidedly of the opinion that animal food, including milk, is not necessary for sustaining the human system to the full. In Young India, on 15th August 1929, he writes, in the limitless vegetable kingdom, there is an effective substitute for milk, which every medical man admits has its drawbacks and which is designed by nature not for man but for babies and young ones of lower animals. Similarly, in his autobiography, 1958 edition, on page number 200, we find, I quote, it is my firm conviction that man need take no milk at all, beyond the mother's milk that he takes as baby. But in the year 1917, he had accepted to take goat's milk to recover from severe dysentery. He wrote, I have always been in favor of pure vegetarian diet, but experience has taught me that in order to keep perfectly fit, vegetarian diet must include milk and milk products such as curds, butter, ghee, etc. This is a significant departure from his original idea. He says, I excluded milk from diet for 6 years. Strictly denying milk was an extreme point of vegetarianism, and he found that therefore it is not samyak. And his experiments showed him the way for ahimsa and for a complete diet. So the minimum diet Gandhiji prescribed it is written in Harijan in the year 1942. He mentions, to begin with, one meal may be raw vegetables and chapati or bread, and the other cooked vegetables with milk or curds. This is a important important suggestion for the people of the world at large when he says that one should not eat flesh, number one, and products of the animals, and when we come to bats and insects, this should be fully avoided. And the same thing is written in the Jatak Attakathas. So, in CHAKKWAK Jatak, which is story number 434 of Jatak Attakatha series, a greedy monk who used to crave for rich food and visited all free kitchens in Sravasti city in search of nutritious, delicious dishes, was managed by Shasta by telling the story of a greedy crow. The greedy crow was not satisfied with what he got in Varanasi city, and in search of the fish fat came to Ganges river. There he sighted golden, attractive CHAKKWAK birds and thought they must be getting rich and nutritious fish and meat here. That is why they are so charming. Let me find out from them, and I should take same diet to become healthy and charming like them. So he inquired about their food habits. Now the CHAKKWAK bird, to his surprise, revealed that it is algae and water on which they feed themselves. But they never hurt or harm any other creature. They never commit any violence for living. The crow could not believe it. Then CHAKKWAK explained to the crow the reason. Said, because you are envious and jealous of others, you steal food, and since you are never content with what you get, but are impatiently running after newer and newer meat and fish, and want to get by violence, so you are always afraid and restless. Therefore, your health and complexion are spoiled. Now, Gandhiji spoke the same when he advocated for vegetarian food. He meant the same as Shasta, which I mentioned earlier, and a notion that a good diet must contain flesh or meat is simply baseless. But there is a dialogue between CHAKKWAK and crow, and the crow is such a bird which eats flesh and fish. When he sees CHAKKWAK, he is very much influenced by his personality, and he says that he thinks that he must be taking a lot of flesh and very good fish. But the CHAKKWAK says no, it is the pious thoughts which keep me, because I am not envious like you, I am not afraid of anybody. I take only algae and that keeps my body fit and my personality charming. So when we see that Gandhiji's views on vegetarianism, these are truly in line with the Buddhist thoughts, and food and dietary habits must be managed in a samyak manner such that body and soul keep fit, because food is not only for the body but it has to nourish soul also. So body and soul should be kept fit for a long time, and especially after this COVID, we have mankind has to see that immunity in our body system should be perfectly fine, and this is with the power of soul, as Gandhiji has expressed in India's case for Swaraj, which he has written in that 1932 edition. I do feel that spiritual progress does demand at some stage that we should cease to kill our fellow creatures for the satisfaction of our bodily wants. The beautiful lines of Goldsmith, occur to me as I tell you of my vegetarian fad. And these are two lines by Goldsmith. No flocks that range the valley free to slaughter I condemn. Taught by the power that pities me, I learn to pity them. So I hope that this visionary Mahatma, whatever his ideas on food, will be adopted in our lives, and a big reason for such pandemics can be uprooted, can be avoided from our life. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.